Hello and welcome to episode number 7 of the Wise Guys podcast. My name is John Tortorelli with Brandon Capizzello and Justin Ray. Today, even though the offseason is starting to slow down a little bit, we have a lot to talk about with you. Starting off with, of course, Kevin Durant. What is he doing? Is he making the right decision? The Lakers' next step, Damian Lillard's newest extension, and James Harden's championship pursuit. At the end, we'll bring some trivia for you guys. But with all that being said, how you guys doing today?
Feeling good, man. Episode 7. I'm ready to roll.
I'm rocking and ready. Let's go.
Awesome. So the Nets have been busy this offseason, even with Harden or Kevin Durant requesting his trade. They start off by sending a first-round pick next year for Royce O'Neal. To me, that's a bit of an overpay. Look at the way the Jazz crumbled last year. Royce O'Neal is a part of that, but that's fine. They end up losing Bruce Brown to the Denver Nuggets. That really hurt them big time. But then they get TJ Warren for a 1-year, $2.6 million deal. To me, that is definitely a flyer they're taking on him. But the last time you saw him play 2 years ago, he was one of the best scorers in the game that could score from every level and could defend pretty well on the perimeter. They also re-signed Nick Claxton, Kessler Edwards. Even Igor Kokoskov was former Suns coach, and he was a Dallas assistant the last few years. He was anointed as one of their assistant coaches. I think they've had a really good offseason. And then you say to yourself, well, Joe Harris is coming back from his ankle surgery. We'll see how he looks, but he's a shooter and he can defend fine. You get Ben Simmons back, in theory. And I'm like, this team has everything that they were missing last year. They got the forwards, the center depth, yeah, I mean, that's still a pretty big issue, but the bigger problem for them was the perimeter defense and the guys who can kind of spell KD and Kyrie a little bit. I said to myself, you add in TJ Warren, that's a great scorer. Royce O'Neal, he can hit the three, defend a little bit. That's pretty good. And so, is Kevin Durant, in theory, if he goes to Phoenix and in turn the Suns give up DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, and a few first-round picks, because mind you, Sean Marks is sending trade offers to Minnesota for Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and like 4 first-round picks. So it's safe to say, from Phoenix, he would want Mikal Bridges. I don't think they're getting out of that without him. Doesn't matter if they say, no, we want to give you Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder. Nope. You're giving up Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton to make that happen. It's just how this thing works. KD's a superstar at 33. You don't get this chance every day. He's got 4 years left on this deal. So, what team would be better? That Nets group I'm talking about now, or the Suns with Bismack Biyombo as their starting center today if they trade for Kevin Durant? Justin, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, thinking about it, any team that Kevin Durant gets traded to, he's such a big star. It's gonna the team that he's going to is gonna be trading a lot. So you're gonna be whatever team he's going to is not gonna have the same skill set of players that they did have prior to the trade. So sitting here right now, Brooklyn doesn't have to trade Kevin Durant. They don't have to do it. They don't have to trade KD and Kyrie. The guy's in his 30s. What is he going to do? Hold out for a season? No, he's not going to do that. I think the Brooklyn Nets at the moment, they have a solid team. You're right. I love the moves that they made. I don't think we're going to get bubble TJ Warren. I think that one's gone. But you're going to get a talented TJ Warren, one that can score. Listen, I saw that face. The bubble is skewed, man. I don't care what nobody says. Yes, that's my hot take. But but at the end of the day, I do feel like Brooklyn may be his best fit at the moment.
Brandon, talk to us.
Here we go again, right? With the freaking drama and all this. Now it's first he requests to trade. Now there's rumors that nobody's hearing from him. All the people are talking, is this, all phony? Is he really does he really want to be traded, or is he just putting that out there maybe to force the Nets to sign Kyrie long term? Who knows with these two guys? I mean, I don't know, but what team would be better? I mean, you gotta tell me, is Kyrie on the Nets or is he not on the Nets?
He's on the Nets in this scenario.
Okay, so he'll be playing with the Nets, so he'll have Ben Simmons and Kyrie with that team. So it's basically you want to play with I'm talking stars wise, Kyrie and Ben Simmons and KD, or is it KD, CP3, and Devin Booker? I don't know because I haven't seen Ben Simmons play in over a year, and I don't know how he's going to react because play because I'm pretty sure I heard he got back surgery. Is that true? He got back surgery done.
That is true.
Yeah. So I mean, how long is that going to keep him out there? The back is a serious like you need your back to freaking do anything in this life. Um, and then these that type of injury at what is he 25, John 24?
25.
Yeah, so young in your career and you're having already these problems. Like that's not good. I would probably rather see him on Phoenix. I mean, Chris Paul's a proven leader. Devin Booker is a just a scoring machine. He's upped his defense in the playoffs when it needs to be upped. Yeah, I'd probably rather see him on Phoenix, but who the hell knows with this guy? I mean, to be honest with you, who knows?
But
And to
is
be honest with you,
trading all the
they might
assets
even
with it?
add sorry to cut this is the last point, I'll let you go. They might even add Cam Johnson to that trade. Like they might say
With Mikal.
Aiton, Bridges, Cam Johnson, and a couple first rounders. But go ahead, Justin.
No, so it was a question for you. Is for instance trading with Phoenix, is that worth it for Phoenix? Getting rid of all of those assets?
I'll answer
Well, I
no.
think with Aiton, they're gonna lose him regardless because they don't want to sign him to the max contract.
Sure.
So it's really you're giving up Mikal Bridges and possibly Cam Johnson some first round picks.
Let me say this. So Ben Simmons actually turns 26 next week, which is why it's weird, like really weird to not see him play an NBA game in over a year, but he's showing up to summer league in a bucket hat. Dude, what the hell are you doing? But with that being said, for the Suns, if they can keep Mikal Bridges and still get Ben Simmons, yes, it is worth it.
You mean
But when I
KD?
look, I said and get Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the Suns can still hold on to Mikal Bridges and acquire Kevin Durant, yeah, it's totally worth it. But when you kind of facilitate all of your assets to get Durant, and then you just create a new leaky hole, which is perimeter defense, you're going to by far your two best defensive players. I mean, Chris Paul this last postseason showed his age when the Mavericks were going at him defensively, something teams really haven't done a whole lot. And then Devin Booker, he's not going to have the luxury of playing off of one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. And then at center, like we touched on before, JaVale McGee's gone. Frank Kaminsky's 30, he's coming off injury. Who is filling that starting center spot? I say sure offensively, KD makes the best offense in the league. But in the postseason, we saw Brooklyn, those same leaky holes that are there, no center, lack of forward depth. That's going to be the same exact thing for the Suns. The difference is instead of having Kyrie, it's going to be Devin Booker and Chris Paul, who's starting to show his age. I know you love him, Bram, but that's just the reality. He's 36. I mean, this is what happens with all these players. You look at Brooklyn, sure, Steve Nash is nowhere near the level of a head coach as Monty Williams, but the team itself is certainly going to be better if they can hold on to all of those players. We just talked about it before. But yeah, like you touched on with Ben Simmons, we saw Michael Porter Jr. Back issues are never a good thing, and that's on top of the mental block and his his inability to be aware of the fact, like, how weird, like, this last season was. Like, that's not normal. Basically, an entire year of his prime, he's trying to get his money back, too. That says a lot about the player, I feel like, at the same
No, I agree. It just with the Suns, I just think there's better leadership there. Like with Chris Paul, Monty Williams, as you mentioned, I totally forgot about him. So I just think it's better leadership there. I mean, he's going to a team where it's not going to be his team. I mean, people will probably view him as the best player on the team, but it's Devin Booker's team. Um,
I'm glad you said that.
yeah, I think I don't know because I don't still know what to say anymore about these Nets. Like,
Let me say something about this.
go ahead.
The trade that I love is the one that he's not going to be willing to accept because he needs to be the guy. But the reality is, Kevin Durant can't be the guy on a championship team. You need a leader beyond just a superstar. And I said to myself, KD in Los Angeles playing on the Clippers would be awesome. You move Paul George, two of their young wings, and Terrence Mann, Brandon Boston, and a few other pick swaps and first rounders 6 years out. Paul George goes to the Nets, so they're getting the best player available. Okay, you can keep him in the playoffs, young wins, and draft assets. For the Clippers, you're trying to win a title. You haven't done that. And Kevin Durant with Kawhi gives you the best chance of doing that. You still have all of your depth, one of the top 5 coaches in the game, and maybe most importantly, just like you had in Brooklyn with Joe Tsai, Steve Ballmer is going to spend out the wazoo. So that battle of LA when Kyrie goes to the Lakers, The Clippers had the clear upper hand because of their ownership, being willing to spend, their depth, and Darvin Ham hasn't even coached an NBA game yet. Tyronn Lue has won an NBA championship. I said to myself, for Kevin, that's the awesome spot. They even have a center in Ivica Zubac. He can start, and if you can't play him in a certain series, fine. We'll roll out some of our guards and plethora of wing players. That to me is the perfect trade for Kevin, but it wouldn't be his team because why? Kawhi Leonard is there, and Kawhi didn't have to piggyback to go somewhere else. He won the championship, then he got to decide, all right, I'm going to Los Angeles. And 2019, one of the people he called was Kevin Durant. He said, no, I'm going to go play with Kyrie in Brooklyn. And then it didn't work out too well for him, we could say. And now that he's looking to go somewhere else, I don't think Phoenix is the proper spot. I think it'd be fun to watch, and you can enjoy playing basketball. But you win this to enjoy basketball, you're in this to win championships. That's for me. That's the way I look at it. Because Kevin Durant's a player who cares what other people think about him, and it's to the degree where he kind of lies to himself, like, I don't care what they think. God. But in the back of his mind, he's trying to be accepted, and I feel like maybe he's in a crisis, but to me, the way I see it, he's not at peace with the way the NBA appreciates the career and the legacy he's had over the last 14 years. And then I look at that and I say, that is going to hold him back from making the right career decision, the same way Dan did when he said, you know what, Kyrie, let's go play in Brooklyn.
So I got a question for you too. Now, I mentioned earlier that Brooklyn doesn't have to trade Kevin Durant. They don't have to trade Kyrie Irving. Should they?
And so the offer's there now. Justin, they got none of their first round picks. So why are you going to force this trade, let's say? You force him to, like, if I'm the Nets, I don't want DeAndre Ayton. I'll take Mikal Bridges.
But if you're trading him, you're accruing draft capital in the process.
Here's the issue, though. Those first round picks, the majority of them are going to be later in the first round. I'm saying to myself, we don't want Ben Simmons and DeAndre Ayton. That's not making us a playoff team. It's just a weird fit. And generally, if I'm an NBA team, unless I'm Utah, I don't want Ayton. I think he gets too much credit. He's fine, but he's also really replaceable, and he's a good traditional center. Like, Ayton doesn't wow me. If I'm the Nets, I'm saying to myself, I'm calling the T-Wolves every single day about Anthony Edwards, which they have been, plus Karl-Anthony Towns and stuff. I'm calling Toronto about Scotty Barnes. New Orleans about Brandon Ingram, Herbert Jones, and all their picks. Maybe even if I can steal they actually can't trade their first round pick, number 8 overall, and Dyson Daniels, but that would be the type of package I want. Young players and a wing that can take me to the postseason.
What about the Blazers?
Okay, so you're thinking of the trade for Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, who they drafted, and Anthony Simons.
Correct.
Yeah, so they'd have to move. Maybe they move Seth Curry in that deal to make the money work. I would honestly consider that as one of the 3 best offers. I wouldn't think it's number 1 because Jeremy Grant's not taking the postseason, and neither is Anthony Simons. But Anthony, in 2 years, when he's got the keys, and Jeremy has a win, plus Shaedon Sharpe, the upside there, if you're willing to be bad for 1 year, win 30 games, and you're handing over Houston unprotected, top 10 pick, yeah, I would say to myself, in 2 years, if Shaedon Sharpe has the opportunity with Anthony, that right there could be the perfect duo, and that's got the most potential of any of these deals. You're getting yourself maybe 2 stars and a good win with maybe an extra pick. So I'd say, yeah, that's one of the top 2. With Anthony Edwards not being traded, but if I'm the Nets, that's my North Star right there. I'm saying, I'm literally calling Tim Connolly every day. What can we do for Anthony Edwards? Kevin Durant, heck. I'll even throw in, Joe Harris or Ben Simmons because I think Anthony Edwards will be that good. He's just 20.
So just to jump off on what Justin asked about should they trade him, and this is actually to go back to a point John made, I think 2 episodes ago, where he talked about there's a possible lockout in the future for this year, and because the owners and GMs and whatnot of the NBA are kind of getting sick and tired of the players running the league. Like, and I agree with them. Like, on one point, I agree with the players, but on another side, you signed a contract, you have to honor the contract. Like, if you're not honoring these contracts, then what does it mean to put your name down on a piece of paper then anymore? So, and I think it's because I asked John when he mentioned it 2 episodes ago, I said, well, like, where's this information coming from? Because I haven't seen any reports of anything. And then I'm watching on mainstream sports channels, ESPN and Fox Sports 1. They're actually starting to mention it now that there's some rumblings in the front offices of NBA teams that they're kind of upset with it. And so maybe some people, owners are calling GMs are calling Sean Marks, and they're like, hey, you want to hold off on this for just a little bit, and maybe we can recapture or regain control of this league. Because if you get rid of both of them, then Pandora's box is just going to keep rumbling out, and you can't put it back in. So I mean, maybe they're holding off to try and renegotiate a deal because they're starting to get tired of these players just saying, like James Harden. Oh, Houston gives him whatever he wants. It starts with Dwight Howard. He gets Dwight Howard. Then eventually he's just like, I don't want Dwight Howard anymore. They get rid of Dwight Howard. They bring in Chris Paul. 2 years with Chris Paul. Oh, I don't want Chris Paul anymore. Okay, we get rid of Chris Paul. We bring in Russell Westbrook, your old friend.
And one of the worst trades we've seen in the last decade.
Yeah, it's a bad trade, but they give him another thing that he wants. A friend, somebody he's played with. You get Westbrook after a year. He says, I don't want Westbrook anymore. All right, we get rid of Westbrook. We come up to training camp. You show up out of shape. You try to force your way out of Houston. You end up forcing your way out of Houston. You go to Brooklyn. Okay, you're in Brooklyn now. You're with Kyrie and KD. You spend a year and a half, 2 years there. Then you're like, okay, I want the hell out of Brooklyn. Get me to the Sixers. Okay, we get you to the Sixers. Like, that's too much, man. You can't just, and Ben Simmons, oh, I'm just going to sit out because, I don't want to get booed. And I'm going to be honest, I think that's really what it was. I think he could have played. I mean, why else make that social media clip that you did where you were dunking and say,
Watch this.
record this? Like, come on, dude. We all know you didn't want to deal with that hatred and that booze. And then Kyrie, taking time off in the middle of the season for no reason with
Well, that's
no
what
head
Dennis Rodman did.
this or
Right?
anything. Yeah, like it's getting ridiculous, and it's like there's got to be
Well,
control over these players.
Rodman won a title doing that. I mean, it's proven to work. I mean, why wouldn't Kyrie do that too?
Yeah, I know, but like I think the owners are starting to get sick and tired of it. To be honest with you, I really do. I think.
When they go to negotiate the CBA specifically,
Yeah,
I think you just
I
struck
think
gold.
that there's a chance that these players have stepped a little over the line. They've crossed the boundary just a little bit too much now. I think they're just a little bit too much.
Justin, you got a take on this?
No, it's true, man. I do feel like Brandon hit it right on the nose when he said, once you sign that paper, man, we expect you to play.
Yep.
You can't just go out there and say, I feel like playing half the games. So, and you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. You can't just say, I'm going to play half these games and I'm just going to play when I want to. That's not right, man. That's not right. So I guess the owners do have a right to feel the way they feel. I could see this going into a lockout. It's not going to be pretty. I could see this lasting for a pretty long time when it does happen.
I agree with you guys. And speaking of players that may be frustrating, let's segue to the Los Angeles Lakers on the West Coast, shall we?
La
They've
La
been
Land.
they've been making some moves this offseason. They acquire a Orlando Magic second round pick, a kind of ritual on Orlando's end, and they take Max Christie, a shooter out of MSU that underwhelmed as a freshman, big, long, lanky Wayne. They then get Scottie Pippen Jr., a guy from Vanderbilt who has NBA heritage and tutelage, led the SEC, I believe, in points, one of the top scorers and assist guys, steals. They then sign Juan Toscano Anderson from Golden State, Thomas Bryant from Washington, Troy Brown also from Washington, and Chicago, I think he's kind of trash. Damian Jones out of Sacramento, and Lonnie Walker from San Antonio. And speaking of San Antonio, there have been some rumblings, we're talking about Kyrie, that in a potential three-team deal where the Lakers are giving up some of those young players I mentioned, Taylor Horton Tucker, a few pick swaps, and some first order to Brooklyn's part, that the Spurs, the newly minted Greg Popovich Spurs, they'd be willing to absorb Russell Westbrook's contract as a third party, so the Nets wouldn't have to deal with that BS. And by BS, I mean just, dealing with Russell Westbrook for a year. And the Spurs would just probably look to negotiate a buyout with Russ so he can go to a contender, but our team would be willing to take him. I got a question for you guys. What is the next move for the Lakers in a Western Conference where they're making these cute moves? They're prioritizing the youth movement. And I think it's a good thing to get these younger players that have some upside. And as we saw Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn, though he was hurt last year, they can maybe realize that with LeBron, Anthony Davis, and a young head coach who has been all over the league. He's been with playoff teams. He's been with the Lakers before. He's went to a title. He's won a championship. He's seen it all. and you think to yourself, okay, with him coming in, maybe this team actually can continue to develop the young talent that they've not only signed but drafted. But you say to yourself, the Western Conference, you have the Clippers, you have the Warriors, those are proven teams. You got the Suns, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Timberwolves, adding in Rudy Gobert. It's a player that makes you a top 10 defense immediately. For the Lakers, what's going to set them apart as LeBron continues to age? Brandon,
Yo,
let's hear it.
so what do I think the Lakers' next step is? I mean, what I said a couple episodes is I think Kyrie to the Lakers is the biggest option for them. I think it's their best option. I
Only?
don't. Oh, yeah, kind of their only option, really, too. Because I mean, when you get strapped with, I think it's 47 million with Russell Westbrook, and I mean, let's just be honest. Like a lot of people love him. A lot of people he's a lot of people's favorite players. Nobody will ever question his energy on the court. He's going to give you everything he's got.
What about on the
But let's
defensive
be honest,
end?
huh?
What about his energy on
On
the
the
defensive
defensive end,
end?
not so much, but offensively, he's going to give it you all. He's going to chase those rebounds.
Chase those turnovers?
Yeah. Well,
Huh.
that's another thing when you're playing a little too fast and you get a little out of control and you don't have the best hands. It's a recipe for disaster. So, I mean, if we're being honest, I think Westbrook is God, man. Because here's the thing. I think that if he went to a team like, let's just say Orlando or something, a bad team, that he can be like the not the best player, but you know what I mean, like the face of that team for a year because he's going to be the biggest star on the team. I think Westbrook can still give you like 23, 8-8 or 9-9 for a season. I think he can still do that, to be honest with you. But the field goals percentage is going to be really bad. He's going to take a lot of shots to get to that 23. His 3-point percentage is not going to be good. I think he was worst in the league this year at 3-point shooting. His
No, that
free
was
throw,
his teammate Anthony Davis for volume shooters.
yeah. But he didn't play as much as Westbrook. So, um, but yeah, Westbrook. I mean, the free throw percentage has just fallen off a cliff from I think he averaged 80% one year at his best, and now he's down to 60 something percent from the free throw line. Like that's just what's going on. That's got to be an up here thing. You know what I mean? So with the Lakers, I think their best option and their kind of only option is get out of Westbrook's contract, get Kyrie in there. I think if when you got Kyrie, LeBron, and AD, I think that instantly makes you a top 4, top 3 team in the West when you got that type of talent.
Really?
So, yeah,
Because I look
I
at
mean,
that.
think about it, John. Like you got Kyrie, who we can say whatever you want about his off the field stuff, but when he's on the court and he's one of the most, possibly the most skilled player on the offensive side of the ball we have ever seen. Possible, top 1, top 2 handles ever in the NBA.
Shooting,
Clutch,
finishing.
shooting, finishing, clutch shooter. Not afraid to take the shot. He's proven with LeBron that they can win a championship, that they can be successful. You got LeBron, who's arguably one of the best leaders in the NBA history. He'll still give you 25, 8-8, 25, 26, 8-8, 9-9. AD, hopefully, knock on wood, he stays healthy. AD is good for 25, 27, and 12 a night with like a block and a half a game if he stays healthy. I mean, we've seen it when he's healthy, he
I
can
got
do it.
I got to step in. Justin,
Okay.
I just want to say this one thing real quick. So you said they were a top 4 team in the West. Where that starts is with the regular season. We can't just jump to the playoffs as we did last year. It's not how the NBA works. We got 82 games. Then we got 100. It's not 100 and then 82. It doesn't go like that. LeBron last year played 56 games, which means he missed almost 30. Anthony Davis missed over half the season. Kyrie Irving, do we know how many games he played? 29. Now, obviously, that was because of mandates in New York City where he's not allowed to play at home. But as we saw the year before, he was just taking random leaves. And we've seen with his injuries in the postseason, he's only played over 60 games since 2017, last 6 years, one time. That's 3 players who consistently won't be on the court for you, and they're all aging, especially LeBron, and they can't give you 70 games. We know that. And with that in mind, Anthony Davis, he's good for 25 a night. If he's healthy, I'm done with this, man. Can we stop at this? If I say, if TJ Warren's healthy, he's getting you 22 a game. Or if, let's say, name XY player. If he can do this, if he can do, why is Anthony Davis getting this special badge of honor? Because he had one run in the bubble? That's it? Because LeBron is not he's not as young as he was then. Anthony Davis has only regressed since then. We saw in the bubble, it was fluky. It was weird. He's never shot like that since the bubble. The shooting has fallen off a cliff. So I'm tired of that. I know it was awesome watching Anthony Davis dominate and be the Lakers' best player in that playoff run. But we got to come to reality, fellas. We're never seeing that Anthony Davis again. More likely than not. The shooting, the athleticism, it's all fallen off.
Yeah, but we may not see that version of Anthony Davis again, but we can still get an elite Anthony Davis. It's not saying the guy's still young. He's not in his 30s. He can still play ball. So I'm with Brandon in the sense if you add Kyrie to that team, that's a top 4 team in the West. And the whole reason why I'm saying that is because how old's LeBron now? 36?
36, turning
36,
37.
37 in
Okay.
December, I think.
So we need somebody to alleviate that stress. So having a guy, AD, obviously the big if is if he's healthy. Kyrie's in the fold as well. There's so many weapons there that he can, he can take that game off. He can take some time off. If AD needs time off,
Who are
then
the other weapons?
Kyrie.
Lonnie Walker?
I'm
Thomas
saying,
Bryant?
I'm saying the 3 stars, bro. I'm saying the 3 stars.
Listen, man, John, if you have those top 3, you can fill out the role players with just solid or adequate players, and you can still be a top team in this league. I mean, come on, man, you're gonna really question all 3 of these guys' talent. Like that would be an elite trio with those 3.
So I made a mistake before. LeBron's 37. He's turning 38.
38. Okay.
No one's denying their talent. We know how skilled they are. But when you're looking at winning basketball games, it's so much more than just skill. I think in basketball, we pay attention to what's appealing to the eye, and we neglect to look at the intangible traits, which LeBron has, but does Kyrie had that? Because he hasn't bought in since the 2016 playoff run for a playoff team. And like Anthony Davis, does he have the drive and motor to continue doing what he did in the bubble? Like, let's keep in mind, he had a 4-month hiatus allowing him to stay healthy for that playoff run. He's never going to get that again. And I'm looking at the team around them. Their next best player is Thomas Bryant coming off a torn ACL. He almost hasn't played basketball the last 2 years. Troy Brown, that's their perimeter stopper. Good luck with that. You'll see how that goes. Because the Bulls, they tried that and it didn't work too well. Lonnie Walker, he can shoot 31% from 3. Can that play off of LeBron? I don't think so. Has he improved as a defender? Sure. But you need to be able to shoot. What's up?
Is there a more talented trio when healthy than the possibility of Kyrie, AD, and LeBron on the court?
No.
And now I know it's a big if, but seriously, is there a more talented group?
You look at Golden State and the Clippers, I say no.
So if it's possible, if we can get them all on the floor, if they can be healthy and play, what's enough? I think if they can get 50, 60 games together.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's
On
really all
average.
you need.
Yeah.
I think that's really all you need with all 3 of them. And I think Justin hit on it a little bit before. Like one night, AD can take a game or 2 off, let Kyrie and LeBron work. Vice versa. You just interchange them. That's what it was supposed to be with Westbrook. Like they were supposed to, like if AD needed some time off or something, Westbrook and LeBron could do it. If LeBron needed some time on, Westbrook and AD could do it. And it fell apart. I think you take Westbrook out of that situation, you put in Kyrie. That is a massive upgrade. Massive. Because of how poorly Westbrook played and fit with this team. So I just see it as like, I mean, I'm never going to count LeBron out. LeBron's shown us never to count him out. Yes, he's fallen on some tough times with the injuries as of late, but before that, the man was Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he's had to take on a larger role than he wanted to. I mean, let's be honest. When he came to LA and they traded for AD was supposed to take the reins for LeBron as he was aging, and he hasn't yet. Then they bring in Westbrook, and it was supposed to alleviate some pressure on LeBron and let him take get. People talk about it's hard to find rest in game, like while you're playing the game, but you can in some moments. Like LeBron at one point in the offensive series can go stand in the corner and let Westbrook and AD and the team cook while he just takes a playoff or whatever. So, but it just didn't work out because the team didn't fit. AD got hurt again. I think LeBron got injured, right? Yeah, LeBron got injured. Westbrook played freaking every game basically except for the last three that they sat him out for, which is just like, okay,
Perfect.
great, we got you. Could we have switched Westbrook for LeBron or Westbrook for AD and get this and switch those games around? Nah, you got Westbrook. And it just showed that it was not a great fit. It didn't work. And I love how people, I think I saw a stat like a month ago or something about Westbrook in like the final 10 games or something of this season. He like averaged
I don't care. I don't
pretty
give a damn.
exactly. And that's my point. I don't care. The league has basically been decided by then. Teams aren't giving you the hardest motor unless they're trying to fight into the playoffs. That means nothing to me. That Westbrook. So where was that the first 70 games of the
Let,
season?
let me say something real quick. Yeah, numbers are nice. Yeah, apply context to it. You look at Jokic's numbers, you apply the surroundings. Then you look at Westbrook, you say to yourself, okay, he led the team in rebounds. Do I want my point guard leading my team in rebounds? Because odds are that means he can't shoot and he needs the ball in his hands. Otherwise, you see a Steph Curry and all these other great players, they can sprint up the floor and space it out of the break. Russ can't do that. Is him leading the team in assists when he's our point guard with the highest usage and beyond that constantly turn over the ball a good thing? I don't think so. Is him scoring at a high level when he's consistently dropped off as a finisher, one of the worst mid-range shooters sometimes? Like, he actually shoots like around 40% from there, but some of the misses are horrific. And then from 3-point range, he's not even scratching 30%. Defensively, if we're going to talk about numbers, we're playing context. Let's talk about the defense. We'll talk about the miserable off-ball attention sometimes he has. Looks like a middle schooler out there. I'm not saying this to be a hater, but people aren't pointing to this Wycombe basketball reference. It won't tell you that stuff. And one Google search is not going to apply the context to why the Lakers this last season didn't even scratch 40 wins, excuse me. I'm sick and tired of the number crap. Look at Julius Randle. Sure, he's putting up 20, 10, and 5, but, apply some context to that, man. Speaking on your guys' points, I think one of the bigger things, Darvin Ham coming in. That's a player who will get the buy-in. He's a former player. Frank Vogel wasn't that. And we see with coaches, Terry Stotts, Brad Stevens, if you're not a former NBA player, it is tough for players to buy into your strategy and your scheme you're trying to implement, even if you're winning a title. If it's not working and they're seeing there's no high ground. Like, our season's done, it's over, we're done, we're out. We saw it last year with Frank Vogel, and his strategy wasn't working because he didn't have the same personnel he had in that 2020 playoff run. The bigs, the wing defense, it just wasn't there. Now with Darvin Ham, I think the biggest X factor for this Lakers team is that collective buy-in. I'm tired of hearing the word if. Let's replace that if. How? Can Anthony Davis stay healthy? How will that look? What will it take? How will LeBron James avoid injury? Well, Kyrie Irving gets you 60 games. Okay, now all of a sudden, there's less burn on him. Defensively, last year he's playing a lot of center. If Anthony Davis is healthy, you don't got to worry about the defensive woes that come with LeBron not trying on that end. That is the Lakers' X factor. I think the Thomas Bryant move is cool, a big that can shoot and roll to the rim, but he's coming off injury. You can't rely or bank on that. We saw Malik Monk last year. Give the Lakers great stuff. Doesn't matter when those stars are not giving you what you need. That's kind of my take. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I mean, I would have loved to see them keep Malik Monk, but I mean, he I think he went to the Lakers to try to compete and win a championship, and then I think it all came to flames, and he just said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna go get my money." So there was no chance of them even retaining him. Uh, I mean, with the Lakers, I just think it is, and I know you hate the word if, but I think it is a big if. And but I think, I mean, I saw social media post, I think a week or so ago of AD in the gym. I think his trainer said he's been in the gym for the past like however many days it was, getting up shots at like 4:50 in the morning, and I forget how many shots they said they were taking per day. It was like 400 or something much higher. That's a good sign. That's a good step forward. I know you're smiling there and you're like, "Oh, I'm not impressed. I need to see it on the court." But that shows at least he's taking the right steps to showing that he's going to take care of and get better as a shot. Now, how is he going to take care of his body? I don't know. Maybe he needs to go freaking work out with LeBron more because LeBron's an Iron Man.
Just lock,
I think
just
his
lock him
last
in Kevin
recent,
Gar. Just lock him in Kevin Garnett's home.
yeah,
Continue.
lock him with Kevin Garnett or
Mhm.
something, or go visit Dwayne Wade's former trainer who really revolutionized him and helped him out when he had those major knee problems and was able to get really good production from Wade when his body was starting to just fail him. Um, but yeah, I mean, with LeBron, I think it was I forgot what was the can you remind me what injury was it this year? What was it the
Uh,
guy who ran it wasn't the guy who ran into his leg, right?
that
That
was
was the year
2021
previous.
Solomon Hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Do you remember
last
what it
year,
was this year?
it was either quad or calf. Don't quote me on that because I didn't check. But he missed, at least a month and a half from that.
But was it like was it I think something he bumped into somebody or something or somebody hit his leg, right? It wasn't just like he's running up the court or something driving and then the leg gave out on him or something. I don't think it was that. So because I don't think we've ever seen LeBron just like, like what Kawhi happened with Kawhi. He's driving up the court like a kind of bump into I think it was Joe Ingles or whatever, and then that's like a torn ACL. We've never seen that from LeBron. It's more been like somebody diving into his leg and it freaking freak accident. He was still able to play for a little bit on that.
I made a mistake. I was thinking of the injury from 2019. That was where he's had over a month and a half. It was an abdominal injury in November where he missed. It was almost 3 weeks. And then over the year, he was starting to miss some more time. He was resting for some
Yeah,
road
load
trips.
management.
But yeah, he missed some time at the very end of the season. That's like 7 games, and then like five in between, 5 or 6, and then it was like 8 or 9 to start the season. Or actually, it's like 13. But at one point, he missed 8 straight games to the middle of November. So yeah,
Yeah. So I think it's just with LeBron. I think if those freak accidents don't happen, I think he's going to be perfectly fine. I mean, he spent over $1 million on his body. He really showed like him and Tom Brady have really revolutionized the way athletes take care of their body and are paving the way for how athletes should take care of their body in the future. So I believe in LeBron. I believe he can get these guys ready to go for this. And I just think the NBA is a better product when LeBron is in the discussion in the playoffs. I think it's just there's not a lot really to talk about as much. It's not as interesting when LeBron's not in there because LeBron is the most interesting man in the NBA. Let's be honest. There's always something to talk about with LeBron. Everybody loves talking about LeBron, whether it's negative or positive. They all love LeBron, and I think he enjoys it a lot of the time. I think he enjoys the attention. I mean, I would love it if I was LeBron. I love the attention for people to give me. So
Well, I'm with you guys. I'm with you, Brandon. Uh, I really do think the Lakers are just one big what if, but I don't doubt LeBron either. I mean, when the guy tells me that he is not missing the playoffs again, damn right, I'm just gonna believe it.
yeah,
Oh, I can't see. I think this was a bit of a fluky year. Everything literally, all the cards were terrible. Everything went wrong. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong,
yep,
and that's never happened in a LeBron season before. So this, like I said, it's fluky. I could see the Lakers bouncing back next season with or without Russ. They still need to make some moves, but like I said, uh, I believe the Lakers will be in contention next season, and LeBron's name will be the highlight of our summers when we're watching some playoff basketball again.
I
yep.
think we covered it all right there. You even made me do some due diligence I failed to do before the show on his abdominal injury. Speaking of teams that last year disappointed and missed the playoffs, let's jump up to Portland, Oregon, where I don't think the fans were as engaged about their basketball team as Lakers fans, but I mean, shout out Portland. I'm a big Damian Lillard believer and fan, one of my favorite players in the game. He got a 2-year, $122 million extension. And my question for you guys is we touched on this loosely. We talked about them signing Gary Payton, acquiring Jeremy Grant for very little. You extend Anthony Simons, even Yusuf Nurkic, who was sitting for like the end of last year. I didn't think they were going to bring Yusuf Nurkic back. I was saying to myself, he played his last game as a Blazer. All of those guys are back. They have Josh Hart for a second year. Nasir Little's coming off a torn labrum. I think that is such an underrated player. Oh my God. He is really good. He's a real NBA player. I think he's going to be a really good starter. If all of these pieces, My question for you guys is this Damian Lillard smaller extension for 2 years, is that telling us that, you know what, the Portland's thinking to themselves, if this thing doesn't work out, the ownership's willing to go all the way into the luxury tax. But if they're not making the playoffs this year in a Western Conference that is, let me remind you guys, here's some of the teams in the Western Conference that I would take over Portland. The Clippers, the Warriors, no grabs there. I don't think anyone would disagree, even the biggest Portland fan. Mavericks, Grizzlies, Suns, Denver Nuggets. I mean, that might be the number 1 seed next year with some good health. The Minnesota Timberwolves, New Orleans Pelicans, Los Angeles Lakers, heck, even the Sacramento Kings. That's 9 or 10 teams right there who I think are better. And you look at Portland, they're kind of trying to play Golden State's game. They're going really small. The issue is you're just a worse version. That's what they've consistently been. You know, they've had the diet Splash Brothers. They've had the diet Warrior system, and they're still doing that where they're playing really small. They get Gary Payton. It's awesome. Then you realize, well, I mean, after Yusuf Nurkic, you have almost no big man depth. And if Damian Lillard's not like himself coming off of this abdominal surgery, this is not a playoff team. Is Anthony Simons, with him coming back, going to be able to level up the way he did without him? Those are all massive questions. So, Brandon, you don't believe in them. I know that. Justin, I want to hear your take. Is Dame going to be traded within the next year if this doesn't go to plan? And Portland says, you know what? Okay, it's over.
I think that they have to. I think they'll be left with no choice. I mean, this has been going on for I don't know how long now. Dame's been in the league since he was what, 22, 23, and he's going on to his age 32 season now. There's been no growth. They've only declined since now. Their last postseason appearance was when?
2020, 2021. They just, you know.
But the team has never been good enough. They've been good enough to get to a postseason, but nobody has ever looked at the Portland Trailblazers and said, "Yeah, this is the team. Hey, don't sleep on them. They're going to win the NBA Finals. They could potentially do it." No, they don't have the pieces. They're planning on Damian Lillard getting him a championship team. Maybe what, when he's 36? The guy's 32. Everything's going to take time.
It'll be a little bit harder to do that when he's making $63 million.
And that's they have to get rid of him. There's no future there with success in Portland. I don't believe their direction is clear. Like you said, it's the diet Splash Brothers. Like they're trying to recreate the Golden State Warriors, but you can't do that. There's only I don't know, 3 big pieces missing, and Draymond, Steph, and Clay. You don't have that.
Jeremy Grant ain't even, and with that, Jeremy Grant can't even match Andrew Wiggins.
There you go. So I look at the Portland Trailblazers and I'm just, it's, I remember a while ago we spoke about like who's the most mid team. And I think Portland's right up there. This is a team that we don't see making any steps forward. They're either the same or worse, never better. And I just, Dame needs to get out of there. I get it. The loyalty is real, and I salute loyalty a ton. But the only thing, the Trailblazers are just hurting themselves at this point.
I had to defend
Well,
my. Yeah.
just to jump off of that right there, what you just said, loyalty. Loyalty is cool and all on Dame Lillard's part, where he showed the loyalty. But where's the loyalty from Portland to Dame? You have not surrounded this guy with the championship caliber team. I don't believe in them. They don't have the talent. They don't have the start. They've got their one superstar talent in Dame Lillard, and then they got some really good players, some good young talent. But in a conference like the West, you're not going nowhere. Okay, and I'm going to sound like a broken record here because I said it last time. I'm sick to my stomach with this, and I'm starting to blame the players more now than the front office because I'm sick and tired of the Damian Lillards, the Bradley Beals, and now I'm hearing reports of the Donovan Mitchell doesn't want out of Utah. He's ready to stand pat. I'm so sick and tired of it, dude. Guys, you're not going to win a championship when your team doesn't surround you with the talent that you need to win one. They don't understand that the NBA is a star-driven league. You're not going nowhere without the stars and superstars surrounding you. So, go ahead.
Do you have a little more? Because I have a strong rebuttal here. You're gonna need a little more.
Go ahead. No, what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Do you know why Damian Lillard wears the number 0?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? Do you know?
It's because he fell in the draft, right, or something.
He's from Oakland. He went to college in Ogden, and now he's in Oregon. We'll talk about the two other players you just mentioned in a brief moment. But when looking at Damian Lillard, he isn't like any other superstar. I was watching a video. Shout out to Creighton Crowley, one of the best video creators on this platform. I linked the video to y'all. Maybe you didn't see it. Basically, for Dame, he's not winning a championship, and he doesn't want to if it's not in Portland. For a player that was underlooked in high school, took him 3 years of dominance in college through injuries just to make it to the lottery. For an NBA team that gave him an opportunity, this is a player who has given everything to his city, the team, and it's Oregon. He's fallen in love with that. He doesn't want to go to Philadelphia or Miami, dude. He doesn't value a championship in that aspect where he's going to ring chase. That's not who he is. You have to look at his identity as a human being. This is the utmost, not just leader, but this is someone that's dedicated to loyalty. It's one of his core values. Not championships. For some guys, he can say, sure, but he's just chasing money. He wants to get the bag. Well, no, because you can get that bag from the team and then request a trade. You know, we see that all the time. With Dame, he values that over all else. So if he's not going to win a championship, but he stays in Portland, he's fine with that. But in that unlikely chance that he actually can win a championship in Portland, that is more valuable than the slightly higher or more likely potential of winning a championship somewhere else. And this is the point that Creighton Crowley made. It was amazing. Do we look at Jason Kidd differently because he won a championship in his twilight years?
No.
How about Gary Payton?
No.
How about Clyde Drexler?
No. But I think that's very different because Dame Lillard is still somewhat in his prime. I mean, Dame Lillard can still go give you 28 a night. None of those guys could do that in their later years, and I don't think any of them did that in their prime years. But forget that point. That doesn't matter. The main point you made about I get Dame Lillard is not here to win championships. Then you know what? Then I'm done talking about you, Dame Lillard. Because if you don't care, then I don't care about you anymore. So I'm done talking about you. If you want to just stay in Portland and not win a championship and be known as on the list when we look back, they send it out every year. Top 10 players never to win a championship. Your name will be on there, and I'm done talking about you. Because if you don't care, then I don't care. So go ahead, enjoy Oregon. They gave you a shot, but guess what? They didn't surround you with the necessary talent to go make it to win a championship. Okay, so you're done. Portland's done. You guys are obscurity, and that's it. That's all I got to say. Done with them. Screw it then. Go ahead.
I can't follow that up.
Done talking about them. I don't want to. Just because you told me that, I don't want to talk. Then okay, that's cool. Bye.
Okay.
Brandon's not wrong.
I can't debate that point. What do we play for?
Play to win
Games.
championships. That's why you play this in this league. That's why you play a professional sport. Loyalty. You really think these teams are loyal? Go ask any professional athlete if these teams are really loyal. Go ask Dwayne Wade about Miami. And I'm a huge Dwayne Wade fan, and I love Miami. Go ask him. Go ask him what they did, how they disrespected him, and he had to spend a year in Chicago when he never should have did that. Go ask all these teams. Go ask Tom Brady. Go ask any player that these teams will throw you to the side, whether you like it or not, no matter what you did for them. They don't give a crap. So for you to give a crap about them, and love your fans, love them. They are the reason you have the money in your pocket and that you're able to do this for a profession. But guess what? Fans will turn on you in an instant. The hardcores won't, but the majority of them will. So go ahead, Dame Lillard. Be the freaking 12th seed in the West for the rest of your career. 10th seed in the play-in, playing for play-in. Maybe they'll start giving trophies for play-in winners.
Well, look at banners.
Yeah, give banners, whatever. Done. I'm done. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Done.
Speaking of a championship pursuit, let's talk about James Harden. He took a $15 million pay cut to stay in Philadelphia on another 2-year extension. And you say to yourself, okay, well, There may be some shady Fanatics side deals going on where he's getting some endorsement money from Michael Rubin, who sold his stake in the New Jersey Devils and the Philadelphia 76ers right around the same time that we're starting to realize more and more, oh, Harden's going to take a pay cut on this next contract. What that allowed Philadelphia to do is get something that has not existed for this team as long as I've been watching basketball, quite frankly. And that is tough wings that can shoot it and defend. You get that in Daniel House, and more notably, PJ Tucker on the mid-level exception. And it's not just athleticism, basically all the physical characteristics you look for in a championship team that they were lacking, especially in those years of losing. They traded Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith. They prioritized the star talent. Even TJ McConnell, one of the tough guys, just mini and he can't really shoot. His jump shot looks like a upside down tractor trailer beyond like 15. It's disgusting. Neither here nor there. Philadelphia is getting precisely what they need to surround Joel Embiid. You're getting a little more athleticism than what Danny Green provided to you. You're getting, with the shooting that Royce O'Neal is giving them, someone that won't be vehemently attacked defensively. For me, this is awesome. I think for Philadelphia, they're getting James Harden in the gym. A dude that's putting his body in the right shape. He's getting ready. He's warming up. He's jettisoning, revving up that hamstring to get ready for the postseason. Or the regular season we were talking about before. That's where it all starts. And then I think the most underrated move out of them all was acquiring DeAnthony Melton. He's a player that's very sporadic offensively, but he's just a quick guard that can defend. He's not going to be a liability, and he got pretty darn hot from three-point range. That is another guy who can defend and shoot it. What else does Philadelphia really need alongside Joel Embiid? Well, it's Joel Embiid staying healthy. So, Brandon, you're pretty big on championship moves. I need to start with you. I can't start with Justin here. Are the Philadelphia 76ers a top 2 team in the Eastern Conference? And if they're not, are they third after Milwaukee and Boston?
Do you mean like regular season? Like where will they finish regular season wise?
Championship odds. That's what we're talking about, right?
No.
Talking before.
No, not top 2. No.
Top 3?
And that's no.
Miami?
I would probably, in no particular order here, I would probably have Boston, Miami, and Milwaukee ahead of them. Depending on what happens with Brooklyn, I would have them over them if those 3 the main guys can
How
get
about
on the court
Atlanta, a
together.
team that they cannot overcome last
Who?
postseason? How about Atlanta, a team that gave them a good?
No, no, because I don't think there's not a person on Atlanta that can hold Joel Embiid. And then
We said that
I
then.
mean, huh?
I think we said that then too in 2021.
Yeah. But I don't know if Philly's done making moves because like I said in previous episodes, there's rumors that Tobias Harris might be traded, so I don't know what they would get for him. Um, Thibault has been on the trade block for a little bit now.
I'll
But
be
yeah,
honest with
no.
you. They can't trade Thibault. When you got a guy who can defend that well, and all he needs is a three-point shot, can you get that from 30% to 34, 35 where you can play him in the playoffs? That doesn't seem like a distance away. And if you trade him when his value is an all-time low, and then he goes to a team where he can develop that three-point shot, he is older for a prospect of 25. But I mean, you've seen guys later in their careers develop a three-ball. It's the one thing that Thibault is missing. If they trade Thibault, I'll be very shocked because
Yeah.
it's a terrible use of resources.
So but back to your original point about is Philly a top 2 championship? No, I think they probably like currently constructed because I have no idea what's going on with Brooklyn. I think they're probably the 4th best team in the East. But once you get to the playoffs, man, sorry, and it's just been proven. I'm looking at the history of the past what is it? 7, 8 years with
75.
James 7, 8 years with James Harden in the
Oh, yeah.
playoffs. He's shown you his history.
But what about Tyrese Maxey? We saw with him he was the most improved player last year, and he wasn't ready in the playoffs. He was just 21 years old. It's a kid, barely old enough
But
to
he's only going to
drink.
be 22 next year, John. He's still going to need time to get to that level, and I just don't think he's ready to take that next step yet. I think he could, but I don't think it is going to be next year, especially when you consider it's not just look at them, it's look at the teams that got to get through. Boston made a big upgrade with Malcolm Brogdon. Okay. Milwaukee's going to have Middleton back. Giannis is still a top 5 player in this league.
Top one.
in your opinion. Miami's still there. They're not going nowhere. Philly, to me, it's just I don't believe in James Harden. And then another thing, like you were saying, with injuries wise, and Embiid, it's sometimes it's not even just injuries. It's this guy could have a stomach flu, and that's going to keep him out of game.
Well,
It.
isn't
I think he. How many injuries did he end up with this in the playoffs? I think he had like 3 or 4 different injuries at one point.
it was the thumb concussion,
Orbital, I think, right? And
orbital?
then a
Yeah, it
knee
was a
injury or
concussion.
something like that.
I don't know if there
Another
was.
thing in the
I don't
low.
think there was a lower body, but I mean, when you're
There
playing
was
like
another. There was something, but like it's
playing at
just like you're
260,
playing with that many in like that just shows you right there, like Jesus, man.
well, that's freak stuff, though, dude. The thumb stuff with Pascal, or the face with Pascal, you can't control that. And I think for
Ricky.
Embiid, he's taking incredible care of his body, especially after
He
having
has tried.
becoming a
He has
father.
tried.
He has tried. No, no, he's taking tremendous care of his body. Those weren't lower body extremities. That was his thumb. You hurt your thumb. That's usually not because your bones are weak. Oftentimes, just because of a freak incident. And you look at the orbital fracture, dude. How will I take care of your body is not going to prevent you colliding with Pascal Siakam, who maybe has a strong jaw or what have you, and all of a sudden you can't see for the next 5 days. I think it's unfair to just look at Joel Embiid's history where the Sixers held him out for the process and say, I can't play. I think for Philly, the bigger issue is load managing this guy more. I think legitimately with Joel, you just need a minute. Like, once you have a top 3 seed on lock, bro, this end him. This get him ready for the postseason because we're seeing every year, whether there's a freak injury or it's him not taking care of his body or the team just stinks when he is healthy. You need a healthy Joel because they're going nowhere without him. He's a top 5 or 6 player to me, maybe even top 3 or 4, but he's healthy. And him being healthy, it's not like Anthony Davis who doesn't give a shit. Pardon my language. He does. He really does care. And he wants to win a championship so badly. There's that hunger there. I think for
Yeah.
Philly, they just have to protect him. You look at Tyrese Maxey. You see what James Harden can give you. One of the 3 best playmakers, maybe 5 at worst. He can shoot it. If the burst is just a little bit there, he's giving to 23 a game.
Can he shoot
He
it?
really shoot it though?
Yeah, that's the big question. See, that's my thing when it comes to Philly. Like, I would believe them more if I knew what I'm getting out of James Harden. I want that scoring version of James Harden back. I want to see 28, 29 a game. I don't want 21 points a game for James Harden when he got to Philly. That's not the James Harden we know.
19 a game in the postseason on what was the efficiency? 58% true shooting. That's okay. It's just in the moments where it matters most, he gets outscored by PJ Tucker.
But my biggest thing is James Harden needs to really take the reins, and not saying it's his team, it's Embiid's team, but he's a spark plug on the offensive end. And while yes, he's an amazing playmaker, the guy might give you 10, 11 assists a night. But what made James Harden so special was the guy was unguardable. The guy could make shots left and right. He will give you 30 points a game, give you 11 assists a night. What with Embiid and with all those other guys on the Sixers, this might be one of the most, if not the most talented team he's ever played on. They can win a championship.
No.
But it like I said, I don't know what version of James Harden we're gonna get. So I can't sit here and say, yeah, Philly's a top 3 team in the East, because if we were getting MVP Harden, I would say yes in a heartbeat.
But see, here's the thing about that. Even with MVP Harden, that's in the regular season. I've seen this guy, and you guys have seen him in the playoffs not show up time in and time out. He's done it. Eventually, this guy is showing you who he is, but you don't want to realize it or see it. He's shown you what he is in the playoffs. He's gonna miss the shots. He's gonna turn the ball over at a high rate. I don't know
Let me
what
add
he
to
needs
that.
to. He's shown you.
There is a difference between, in a way, the number 2 behind an MVP candidate and being the main man. The similarities is he's still the lead perimeter guy. And with Philadelphia, the thing that they're lacking with Ben Simmons and without him was that go-to perimeter dude. Tyrese Maxey's very good, but we just saw he's not that lead guy yet. If he's your number 2 next to a proven star that's going to show up, oh my God, he's tremendous. Amazing. He can knife through the defense, and when you got Harden and Embiid pick and roll, it's brilliant. You then pair some defenders around them, they're going to be tough. Top 5 team on both ends. while Harden is no longer the number one, he doesn't have to lead the team in scoring. He does have to be the lead offensive cog on the perimeter. He has to get it all going. It's not just the playmaking, it's the duality of the shot creating. He needs to get you a bucket when you need it. Because oftentimes when Embiid's getting double teams or even triple and he's passing out, you need Harden to step up, not just make shots, but create shots for himself just to get you out of a rut. When Embiid's off the floor, he needs to be able to give you a bucket because Tyrese Maxey can't just do it alone. That is what worries me. The fact that can he still be that lead? It's not just giving it 26. I don't care about that. Is he going to show up in those moments? And like you said, in the postseason when he's going 4 of 11, 2 of 9 in elimination games,
And he's crumbled.
hasn't been there. And you can't deny that with Harden. Sure, he's had some, especially in OKC, helped bring them to the finals in 2011 or 2012. Yeah, 2012. Wrong year. Come on, John. You know
Yeah,
better
but he
than that.
crapped out in the finals. He didn't really play good.
To be fair, it's a six-man's third season. I mean, he was
Yeah, but if you're gonna give him
Tyrese
credit
Maxey's
for
age.
helping them lead to the finals, then you got to discredit him when he doesn't show up in the
Well,
finals.
they don't get there without him. He had a brilliant game.
I understand
in the
that, but they
conference
didn't.
finals.
They didn't win it because he was one reason they didn't win it.
Well, I mean, do they win it because they're lacking experience against Miami and had Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant there for the first time, or is it because James Harden coming off the bench? Which
I don't
one?
know. No, I'm saying he's one. I didn't say the main reason. I'm saying he's one of the reasons they didn't win it.
And it's when you got a six-man spark score, he's not gonna be the one that wins you it. He's gonna be himself. And Harden in that playoff series was a young six-man coming off the bench. He had some good games, he had some bad ones. But the thing that stands out most is dropping 30 points against San Antonio. I believe it was game 2, showing up in the fourth quarter, and I believe it was an elimination game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was like 9 years old. In game, what was it, 3, 4, 5, in game 6 versus the Spurs. So, I mean, we can discredit him for those playoff runs when he was the number 2/3 in OKC 10 years ago. Okay, I get it. He
Yeah.
has had some moments, but outside of that, you're totally right. I mean, he hasn't been that guy, you know. So, can he be that now in Philadelphia as the lead perimeter dude? We're going to find out in 9 months. And my gut feeling, you know, if you put like a Nerf gun to my head, I'm saying no. I don't see it.
Can't see it.
Won't see it.
Nope.
Oh, okay. I think there's like a 35% chance he can do just enough. He's not just getting the assists, but he gets enough buckets. I think he definitely can. That, by the way, that's a Zach Lowe reference, the Nerf gun thing. That's a little dorky. I was thinking, like, how can I make this as dramatic as possible? Okay, anyways. I got a trivia question for y'all.
Let's get it.
Here we go. Oh, man.
Okay, so he's an NBA never played. Former Kentucky guard and lottery pick in the 2017 NBA draft. He had an underwhelming start to his career on a bad NBA team. He has never made the playoffs.
De'Aaron Fox.
He's been in the league longer, am I right?
De'Aaron Fox.
No.
Yeah, he's been in the
He
league.
never made the
longer.
playoffs.
He is a Sacramento King.
Oh, so he's on the same team.
Yep.
Who's the other guy?
I don't know.
Oh, you do know. You just won't tell us.
Yeah, I can. He's from Arkansas. 24-year-olds. Top 10 recruit out of the 2016.
He's Malik Monk.
Yep.
Yeah, you gave it away from me.
Why, with the Arkansas?
No, before that, when I was thinking when you said Sacramento, and I was like, oh, okay, I think it's a new guy. So
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I hope they don't say Kevin Herter. I'd be like, guys, what are you doing? Do you guys have a trivia question?
I don't think I have a basketball one off the top of my head.
Okay. I feel like that was a pretty good one. Because you were talking about him earlier, and I was like, ooh, I was laughing the entire time.
That's the thing. I thought it was relevant. So
Yeah.
thanks for not making me look as stupid as I did with the.
Don't worry. I'll make sure I extend when I'm editing this. I'll make this be like 0.25, so you guys are like thinking really slow to make the TikTok like make you guys look stupid. Got ya? Yeah. Do you got one? Either of you two?
I can look one up if you want to give me a minute.
I'll give you guys another one while we're at it. Okay?
Okay, cool.
Now this is another player. Get this. From the 2018 NBA draft, not 2017, but he was, out of the 2017 class, a top 15 recruit, so highly regarded out of high school. He was drafted in the NBA by the Canes. The Canes drafted him. That's why I think this is pretty cool. He's from Columbus, Ohio. A lot of Columbus, Ohio hoopers. Karis LeVert, Malachi Branham. He's 23 years old, and his dad played in the NBA. Now, let me give you some good hints.
Halliburton?
No. His dad, I don't think, he did. He went to Duke. Second round pick in 2018. Yeah. Yep. He is currently. He's playing 2 different NBA teams. The current one is the Toronto Raptors. Shooting guard. He's had 3 different jersey numbers. And when we're talking about spark plugs, he is one of the very best. I would argue he is. Is he the best spark plug? Considering like what the qualifications are, to me, when I think of like the guys we're talking about before in terms of spark, they're gonna be inconsistent, they're gonna be spotty. He is the definition. Spent his first 4 years in Portland. 3 years.
Where is he now?
He's in Toronto. His dad's nickname was Shaq of the Mac.
Shaq of the Mac.
He averaged 18 points a game this last season.
Yeah, he was just traded there.
Yeah, 18 points a game this last season.
Oh, this is gonna drive me crazy because I know it.
Traded for Norman Powell. Man, these lights are getting to y'all. Traded for Norman Powell with Rodney Hood in the 2021 NBA trade deadline.
I have a blank right now.
I'm gonna wave up the white flag.
You sure? You're gonna be really mad at yourself, dude. When you talk about Portland young players, they gave up on this guy a little too soon. His name is Gary Trent Jr. It happens. Those lights are getting to you on now. You're getting sweaty. It's all good.
I got one.
Let's hear it.
Kind of obscure, but I think John might get it like right off the bat, like a little in, but okay, so he's a former first round pick in 2008.
Robin Lopez?
Played, huh?
Robin Lopez?
No.
Damn it.
He has played for 4 teams.
Brook Lopez?
No. He's a former. I mean, he's a 2-time NBA All-Star, and he made a All-Defensive second team once.
Cal Lowry, nah. He was
No.
Yeah.
What team does he play for?
If I say it, John's gonna get it right away. I know he is.
Is he still in the league?
No.
Oh, that's good. Not in the league anymore. Jeez, what happened to this guy? So 09 was Blake Griffin. Who was the first overall pick in 2008?
No, he wasn't the first overall pick.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking who the first
okay.
was, so I know what class this was.
He's American Jamaican.
Oh wait, I think that's like D Rose.
American, I should say.
Yep, it was Derrick Rose, wasn't it? Derrick Rose, Kevin Love, Eric Gordon. Okay, so I know the class now.
Okay. Are there any more hints?
College. This might give it for John. College, Georgetown.
Okay, he's a Hoya.
04 to 08.
Wait, you only played in the league for 5 years? Was a 2-time?
No. His college was 04 to 08.
Oh, he played 5 years. Jeez. Okay. Dude, actually, when you said Georgetown, I can't think of who this was. 1-time all-defensive player. Man.
All right. Do you want me to give you his team he spent the most time on or his height?
Yes, team.
Give me his height.
No,
I'm doing I don't want the harder one. He's 7'2".
Oh, okay. So I don't know. I kept thinking of Hashim to be, and obviously he was never a 2-time All-Star. Okay. Also not even the right draft class, I don't think.
Indiana Pacer.
Okay.
Roy Hibbert?
Yes, Roy Hibbert.
I hate that guy.
I hate that guy.
Roy Hibbert is the worst All-Star. I mean, he's putting up JaVale McGee numbers, making the team, and maybe even All-NBA.
I'll never forget that Knicks postseason series against the Pacers.
Yeah, it happens. Well,
I absolutely, with a burning passion, cannot stand Roy Hibbert because of the series.
no wonder I forgot him.
I wish I could have forgotten him forever. Thanks, Brandon.
No problem, man.
Thanks.
That is going to do it for episode number 7 of the Wise Guys podcast. Thank you all so much for listening to Stage to the very end. This was a lot of fun, guys. Do you have anything else to add real quick? Well, follow these two boys on Twitter. What's your Twitter at? Mine's John Tortorelli.
You want to laugh? I don't even know my Twitter handle by heart. I believe it's J_Ray King.
Yeah, is there a number in there? Is there a 12 in there?
I think it's
12.
Ray King _12, I believe.
Ray King _12.
There we go.
Yep. Follow him on Twitter. And then for Brandon, do you have one?
Brandon Cap
21.
21. Twitter and Instagram.
Say it one more time, guy. I interrupted you.
Brandon Cap 21.
That's what's up. Mine's John _Tortorelli. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, we'll see you next time.
Stay classy.